Is it a struggle to get your child to practice their instrument?
No!
In this video, we're going to explore some ways to help your child to become motivated to practice. Hi, my name is Kelly from Casey'sMusicMethod.com, and I've been teaching private music lessons to children for a long time. I have some ideas for you and your child that may help them to develop a practice routine that is stress-free. First of all, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe by clicking the link and bell below. That way you won't miss out on any of my future videos. Okay, you may be a parent or even a teacher, and you're looking for ways to get your child or student motivated to practice. It's interesting because a lot of parents get their children into music lessons because the child wants to learn, but when it comes time to practice, they face a harsh wall of resistance. When your child refuses to practice, perhaps you've tried tactics like this.
If you don't practice the guitar, I'm taking away your Switch.
This is a battle that is no fun for parents or children, so let's explore some ways that will motivate your child to practice on their own with little to no encouragement. Here are the tips that I have for you, starting with what they practice needs to be fun or interesting. If the music that the child is learning is boring or irrelevant, then no matter what you do, practicing will seem like a chore to them. If you are teaching your child, then try finding music that your child likes and build those songs into their learning. You can make a playlist of songs that they like and work from that. I also recommend working out of a book that is somewhat relevant, meaning a book that was published recently, which is probably not going to be what you or your parents used when they were learning. I have written my own music learning books for children to address this issue, and I will post a link to those in the description below if you're interested in checking them out. Okay, so if the child seems to like the music that they're learning, then it's time to make practice into a habit. Let's talk about how to do that. These next tips about creating a practice habit could be a separate video in itself, but I'm going to incorporate them here now. Step 1, create a practice area. If the place where your child is supposed to practice is filled with distractions or is uninviting, then that could be a deterrent to their practicing. Some things to consider are good lighting, not many distractions, comfortable seating, and a place that they would just like to be. Be creative and give it a musical theme. Step 2, make practice convenient. You can do this by putting items inside the practice area that are helpful for practice. For example, if your child is learning to play the guitar, get them a guitar stand, a music stand, and a guitar tuner, and have those things available so that they have the right tools ready. If they're playing the keyboard, have it set up on a keyboard stand and have a piano bench or a good chair so that the practice area is comfortable for them. Also, have their instrument and music out and ready to play. Make sure that their instrument isn't sitting in the case by the back door or something like that. If it seems like a chore to get everything ready each time that they have to practice, then that could cause some resistance to practice. Step 3, make it easy. Your child may not even know what they should be practicing. Create a routine, or if they're taking private music lessons, have their teacher write down exactly what they need to practice with bullet points. An example would be, play the song Over the Rainbow for 10 minutes, practice this exercise for 3 minutes, and play pages 24 and 25 in this book for the next 10 minutes. You can set a timer for them and see if this is helpful. I recommend starting with 20 minutes. Step 4, make it rewarding. It would seem as though your child would want to practice just for the sake of improving, but that's not always the case. If they seem to need some extrinsic rewards, that's okay. Here are some examples of reward systems for practicing. You can use a practice log like this and fill it with X's for each time they play. At the end of the month, you can total up how many X's or times they practiced. Perhaps you decide if they get 15 X's or more, they get a prize or a reward. Deciding on the reward is up to you. Another option is to build practice into their chore list if you give the child an allowance. Clearly now this makes practicing a chore, but I've seen it work for some. One clever parent told me that they used practice time as an even exchange for screen time. So every minute that their child practices is a minute they earn to play video games on their iPad. I think the important thing is to understand what you think will work as a positive motivator for your child and to try that. Now that we have talked about making practice into a habit, let's talk about some other things that can be highly motivating for your child's learning. Enroll them in private music lessons. Enrolling your child in music lessons is a big motivator, especially when they connect with their teacher. Although this won't guarantee that they will practice at home, having a weekly lesson keeps them engaged in their learning. I realize that private music lessons are expensive. It may not be an option for you. If that's the case, then you can mimic what private music lessons do by having a weekly learning time with you and your child where you work together to further their skills. Another thing you could do is incorporate performances. Musical performances and recitals are the backbone of private music programs in schools. Students and families look forward to these events so that they can see the fruits of their child's labor. These performances are a way to celebrate the progress that students have made over the weeks, months, and years of their learning. If there are no performance opportunities available for your child, you can create them. A simple way would be to have your child perform a song for family members or even stuffed animals. Perhaps have them play Happy Birthday for a grandparent? Also, a performance can help your child reach specific goals by setting a deadline. Now, I recommend listening to your child on this one. Definitely don't force them to participate in a performance if there is a lot of anxiety around it. Some people love performances, while others are deathly afraid to be in the spotlight. Only use performances if they are a positive motivator. Lastly, listen to your child. Ultimately, you don't have control over your child, so it's best to work with them and let them have some control in their learning. You may have to make some compromises, but that's really what life's about anyway, right? Get creative and find ways to help them become motivated. Work together and show your child that you care about their learning. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any other tips about getting children motivated to practice, please leave them in the comment section below. I hope that this video gives you some ideas that will help motivate your child to practice.